Oh, hey everybody. Oh, this is a deck profile on Gravekeepers. Won first place today. Even though it was a Sunday tournament, we were all playing pretty much fun decks until like the last 3 rounds and everybody's playing Glad Beasts and all that kind of sort of stuff. Prophecies and Evil Swarm and, you know. Anyways, this deck went 2-1 the very last round. Went through 6 rounds of single elimination. 2 out of 3. So, before we start, gotta organize all this, I guess. Alright, so we're gonna start with the monsters for Gravekeepers. I'm not gonna go too into detail for them. So, we're gonna start with 3 recruiters. Very simple, it gets destroyed, goes to the graveyard, from the field to the graveyard, and you can get another Gravekeeper with 1500 or less defense. So you can search out Commandants and stuff like that. Which, by the way, Commandants, if you discard this from your hand, you can search for a Necrovalley. Need 3 of these. Helped out a lot, one of the big targets. And of course, 3 Gravekeeper Spy, because it's a 2500 defense stick that can flip and special summon a Gravekeeper with an attack of 1500 or less. Very useful. And last but not least, 3 Descendants. Those are my trips. Those are all the triple Gravekeepers that I run. Yeah. Send a Gravekeeper to the graveyard and destroy something. Don't matter what it is. Destroy something. You can only do it on your turn though. So with single Gravekeepers that I run, run one Nobleman. He's actually helped out really defensively, especially if I was in a bind with I was in a bind with Gladiator Beasts, and well, that helped out quite a bit. But he allows you to special summon any Gravekeeper in face down defense. So basically a free set from your deck. So I'd set a Spy, or I'd set even Shaman, which by the way, Gravekeeper Shaman, I run 1. Lots of spell trap destruction right now, so I run 1 Shaman just to keep Necrovalley safe. Yeah. I run 1 Heretic. He's actually really good. He's a TCG exclusive, but he can't be destroyed. He can't be targeted, or he's not affected by any other effects as long as Necrovalley is out on the field. He's not even affected by Necrovalley's boost, so he's just an 1800 beak stick. But he can't be deep prisoned, he can't be Sakuretsu armored, Dark Hold doesn't work, Torrential doesn't work, and so forth and so forth. Lance doesn't work on him. Assailant. A single Assailant. For those people who play Monarchs and stuff like that. You know. What he allows you to do is when he attacks, you can switch an attack position monster to defense and continue attacking. Really good. He gets around a lot of things. Before he used to get around Jinzo. Mind you, I haven't played this deck in forever. The last time it was competitive was 3 years ago, no, 2 years ago when Descendant came out. And that's it for the monsters. The count on it is 4, 8, 12, 16 monsters. That's it. That's all I need. Alright, for spells, you're going to run a Necrovalley. If you don't know what Necrovalley is, you're watching the wrong video. Necrovalley is a spell card, a field spell card. Nobody can touch their graveyard. Is basically what it's trying to tell you. Like, you can activate effects in the graveyard, say Treeborn Frog, and that actually happens and stuff like that, but you can't play cards that'll move cards in the graveyard out of the graveyard, and so forth. So it stops Monster Incarnation, it'll stop Lumina, it'll stop stuff like that. It stops Monster Reborn, yada yada yada. It stops Call of the Haunted. I play 1 Royal Tribute. I main deck 1 Royal Tribute. This actually helped against Gladiator Beasts. And oh, what was the other one I played today? Well, anyways, run 1. Don't run more than 1. I think it's limited to 1 actually, so just run the 1. I was thinking about side decking this, but I decided to main deck it today. I run 2 Steles. Easy to use. If you have 2 Gravekeepers in your graveyard, you have to have 2 Gravekeepers in your graveyard to activate this. So, pick 2, put it back in your hand. Doesn't matter which Gravekeepers they are, just put them back in your hand. I run 2 of these. I run, so the non-Gravekeeper stuff, Mystical Space Typhoon, 3, of course, destroy spell trap. I run 1 Dark Hole, because Dark Hole. So, yeah. These were actually in the side deck for a while. I decided to main deck them today, but I main decked 2 Pot of Dualities. A lot of people say run 3, but there's 2 of another card that I want to show you right now, and it actually did 2 good today, and that's Magical Dimension. This was a game winner today. It boosted me up into finals. People forgot that this card existed. Stack a spellcaster. You have to have a spellcaster activated, but you can stack any monster, and then special summon a spellcaster, and then destroy one of your opponent's monsters. Too good, and it's a quick play, so you can chain it. Alright, moving on to traps. I run the big ones: Solemn, Torrential, Compulse, Bottomless. Always, if you know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, you're going to run these in this format. No reason why you shouldn't. I run 2 Mirror Forces. This was inside, but Mirror Force. So limited to 2 because, yeah, because. So 2 Mirror Forces. Alright, continuing on. I ran 2 Black Horn of Heaven. Helped against Exceed heavy decks. There was a couple decks I faced today like it. But 2 Black Horn of Heaven. Oh! Stopped Gazeras. No Gazeras for you. No Glad Beast for you. And, of course, running 2 Imperial Tombs in the Necrovalley. Okay? If you have a Necrovalley and a Gravekeeper, this is your Gladiator War Chariot. It'll stop everything, except for summoning. Which, ironically, is what I wanted to stop when I use these. But just so happened that the lights run player used JD's effect, and, well, off I go. So I only run 2. I have a 3rd one in the car, but I'll try it out with a 3rd one. I think it's going to clog up a little because of how situational it is, because you need a Necrovalley and a Gravekeeper. Okay, side deck. Here are some of the things in the side deck that actually got used. This got used, a 2nd Heretic because Heretics are awesome. I have a 2nd Nobleman because of Nobleman. And I sided a guard. So these 3 actually came into play a lot today. Sometimes I'd side out Recruiters, sometimes I'd side out that other Nobleman for Heretic or the guard. But these came into play really helpful today. Alright, and the not so used. I side a Caius just in case. Somebody's running heavy backfield or running too many spell traps. Kinda helps. I run 1 Visionary. There was one game where he was just beast and he just rose and he just destroyed. And it's hard to kill, so I run 1 Visionary. He's already at 25 when. And the other thing is you can sack 1 Gravekeeper to summon him. And I ran an Oracle. I'll admit I did not get to use him today, but with all the monster destruction running around, I couldn't bring myself to get him in. Okay, so those are side deck monsters. Side deck spells. I side decked a Hidden Temples. Didn't really get to use it today, but you have to activate it if there's whenever there's a Gravekeepers or a Necrovalley and a Necrovalley. So kind of like Imperial Tombs, it's too situational. You can only it's so situational in fact that you have to have like the right field in order to activate it. So right after a Royal Tribute would actually be a really good time to activate this, and it just stops people from special summoning. I ran a single D-Fissure just in case like graveyard effects keep activating. I mainly ran this for Frog Monarchs, but I didn't run into them today. And last but not least, I sided. These used to be main decked. I used to not have Pot of Duality in there, but I sided Spellbook of Wisdom. Now these are good. So like if I ran into a Mirror Force Spellbook of Wisdom, no traps. Or if I ran into a Book of Moon Spellbook of Wisdom, no spells. That's what I use it for. Dark Hole, nope. Nope, that didn't work either. Torrential Tribute, nope. So I sided in 5 traps. I'm going to start with the big one. Deck Devastation Virus. This is a side, not a main deck. Because Imperial Tombs came out, I decided that it would better be suited for the side deck. And it actually worked against Glad Beast today. Stopped a bunch of things. Stopped like Bestiary from coming out in Mermelo. Those 2 went straight into the graveyard. Secutor couldn't do anything. So that made me really happy. I side deck 2 Fiendish Chains just in case. These are, a lot of people think these are stable cards. You don't really have to be Fiendish Chain, Mirror Force, Dimensional Prison. I sided these just in case. I absolutely needed them. And last, I sided in 2 Lightning Pristine Mirrors. Boojins couldn't touch me today because of these. So, 2 Lightning Pristine Mirrors. That's the side deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, side deck, 15 cards. I also run tokens. Cool. Alright. So tokens, side deck, and I'm going to go into the extra deck. If you look at my Dolce build, nothing much has actually changed. This is going to be quick. Exciton Knight. 1 me a game. Master Key Beetle stops things from getting destroyed, like Necrovalley. Ouroboros, I actually got to use him today. He was pretty fun. I got to return stuff, I got to do other things, and it was just awesome. Steel Swarm Roach. I did not use him today, but back in the day he was good, so I decided to put him in there. Black Ship of Corn. Maestro of the Symphony Djinn. If you want like details about this, you can look at my Madolce profile. And then figure out what steps I took to change a couple things. Gaga Cowboy, because I can. Photon Pappy Operative, because it's evil. Let's go Utopia. Okay, and Diamond Dyer for the end of rank 4s. So I used all of those today for an extra deck. Honestly, with the Gravekeeper build, you don't really exceed summon that much, and that's one thing that I don't like about it, is that you don't get to use all the stuff that all the resources that you have in your extra deck. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm going to keep exceed summoning." I had people telling me to exceed summon for days every time I had 2 4s out, but because I have Imperial Tombs and because I had like Hidden Valley, it just wasn't possible. I don't have like a Downer Magician or anything like that, so I tended to keep my Gravekeepers on the field. For rank 3s, Leviathan. Javier the Sea Dragon. I actually stole somebody's removed from play card like this. It was pretty funny. It happened to be a star drawing, so I exceeded into Utopia and drew a card. Yep. Tempo. Because he's still really good against one I can think about is Silent Honor Arc. So Tempo. Zen Mains, because Zen Mains. And Acid Golem of Destruction. So that's my extra deck. Rate, comment if you feel I didn't put a lot of detail into this Gravekeeper deck, because Gravekeepers are completely autopilot. I mean, they were autopilot before, but now they're just, you know, set stuff, play stuff, do this, do that. So that is Gravekeepers in an awesome case. Alright. And there you have it. This deck won first place today. Great rank.